Good morning, guys. Welcome to the monthly policy review, July edition. Okay. I'm sorry I missed the June edition because of some other work, and some of you have asked me to once again, cover these monthly policy reviews. So once again, I'm restarting. Okay. June month have missed. Please try to read that on your own. Okay. So anyhow, we'll see the July edition of monthly policy review. Like the previous editions. In this edition also, a lot of important information or lot of important developments are there. You try to follow them very carefully, right? Okay. Some of the things that we are going to see in this edition. Okay. Monsoon session has begun. Unfair means bill passed, that is related to conduct of public examinations or government examinations. An act has been passed to increase the number of Supreme Court judges. Something is in discussion with respect to Vande Mataram also, and the protection that is given to Vande Mataram, etc. Regarding that also, one bill is in active discussion. Then some important decisions or schemes launched from the side of the government, like Semicon India mission 2.0 mission has been started. There are some developments related to offshore exploration. Then related to mobile manufacturing also, there are some developments, and with related to agriculture, PM-KISAN related issues, we will see. Okay, the PM-KISAN scheme has been extended to or till the year of 2031. Then we will see some macroeconomic developments. There is an amendment to MSME Act also that we will see. Then additional guidelines have been passed with respect to VB Act, that also we will see. Okay, these are some of the issues that have been covered in this edition. Post, we will see the developments or aspects that are there with respect to the monsoon session. The monsoon session has begun, very well, on June 20th, the monsoon session has been begun. 19 sittings have been scheduled. 5 bills were listed to be introduced. By the time the document has been prepared or this edition has been prepared, 4 out of 5 bills have been introduced and 2 bills are already passed. Okay, that is related to conduct of public examinations, one bill, and another one, I guess it is related to one. Okay, right. So the 4 bills introduced are bill to related to Supreme Court judges, to increase the strength of the Supreme Court judges from existing 33 to 37, excluding the CJI, Chief Justice of India. Then National Honours Bill has also been, amendment bill also has been introduced. It is to penalize insults to Vande Mataram. Simply, now Vande Mataram has been given equal protection as that of the Jan Gan Mana, the national anthem. Okay, Vande Mataram is the national song. Then MSME Development Act has also been amended. The definition of MSME has been changed. We will see that. Then there is an amendment bill related to births and deaths registration. Now, if until 2 years a birth death has not been registered, now beyond that only the judicial magistrate has the authority to register them. Okay, so it's you can say it is in consequence with the strengthening of the, or in line with the strengthening of the citizenship. Then bills that are passed and are under active legislation are Public Examinations Amendment Bill, very well, 2026. We will once again, under education, we will discuss this in detail. Very well already, this act is there. Act was made in 2024 when NEET exam was leaked in that year also, 2024. Now, whatever the penalties or punishments were there in the 2024 Act, in this, they have been further increased, penalties, punishments, etc. We will see the details. Then Prevention of Insults to National Honor Bill, that is also under active consideration. Okay, we will see that. Now preventing or disrupting the singing of Vande Mataram now has been made a punishable offense. Earlier it was not there, it was only there with respect to Jan Gan Mana. Now the same protection is given to Vande Mataram also. Then registration of births and deaths bill, this is also under active consideration. Now beyond 2 years, whether a birth or death, if it is not registered within 2 years, beyond that time, only the judicial magistrate of the first class, that person now or that authority has the power to register a birth or death. Okay, we'll move forward. We will see some macroeconomic developments, majorly with respect to the inflation. Inflation figures are there. Okay, right. The consumer price index inflation for quarter 1 of 2025-26, sorry, 2026-20, for this quarter 2026-27, first quarter, that is April, May, June, consumer price index inflation stands at 3.9%. In the previous financial year, that is 2025-26, in the first quarter, the CPI was 2.9%. So almost there is 1% increase. Okay, to the first quarter of previous financial year to present financial year first quarter. Okay, then if you see the food inflation in the present quarter, that is April, May, June, remember that it stands at 4.8%. Okay, and in the previous year it was 0.6%. WPI inflation, if you see, 9.3% in this quarter, present financial year. Previous year it was 0%, means last year there was no inflation at all, zero inflation. This year it is 9.3%. Okay, right. So these are some of the figures that you have to remember. Okay, so the problem is here one thing you have to remember is food inflation shall be lower. Okay, if it is somewhere around 4 or less than 4%, then it is good for the people, because when food inflation rises, it is the poor and lower middle class people who will suffer, and they have to, from their income, they have to spend more and more money for purchasing the food. Already major chunk of their income, okay, goes towards food consumption only. If food inflation is high, further their income further will go into food consumption, and they will be left with a little amount to spend on other things, consume other goods and services. That is the problem. Another important details are there, like if you want, you can go through the PPT also, and you can go through the original document also. Okay, right. So the same thing I have tried to depict in a bar chart. For each and every individual months it is given. Okay, April, May, June. Okay, you can see for April, May, June. Okay, you can see the consumer price index, the wholesale price index, and the food inflation. Okay, right. We will move forward. Right. Here is the important discussion. This is about the curbing malpractices in public examinations. I have already mentioned the bill, name of the bill, public examinations. Name is there, Prevention of Malpractices Amendment Bill 2026. You see, one thing you have to remember, there is already an act in 2020. In 2024 also, NEET exam paper got leaked. Then there were also protests, not in this much bigger scale, but protests were held. Then government also brought the act. Okay, public examinations act has been brought. Punishments are there, fines are there, but what it has done now is, because of the protests that have taken place at the Jantar Manthan and also at the several other places in the country, the amendment bill was made. I mean, amendment is being made to the act, and punishments were increased. Okay, we will see. Okay, so the amendment bill, Public Examinations Amendment Bill 2026 was introduced on July 27. You know very well, June 20, the session has started. Okay, and Sansad March was also planned at that time, and all that has taken place. And because of the protests, the government has brought in these amendments, and the amendments were passed on July 30th. Okay, and it amended the 2024 Act to prevent the paper leaks, impersonation in the examination, and the tampering in the examinations that are being conducted by bodies like UPSC, SSC, NI, NTA, and other government, central government and state government bodies which are conducting the public examinations. Okay, right. So we will see if penalties are like this, if the offender is an individual, the person faces 5 to 10 years of prison. Earlier it was 3 to 5 years only in the previous act. Sorry, in the previous version. Okay. Then fine up to 50 lakh rupees. Earlier it was only 10 lakh. If the offender is a service provider, it is an organization, okay, involved in conduct of examination, any stage of the conduct of examination, okay. Now they have to pay fine up to 5 crore rupees, means the courts can prescribe 5 crore fine. Earlier it was 1 crore, okay. And organization can be debarred to 8 years. Earlier it was only up to 4 years. Now it has been made up to 8 years. Okay. So you can say the punishments have been made stricter. Okay. Right. In the through these amendments. Okay. The question is, I have uploaded another video in YouTube. It is there. You see the problem with just increasing the, toughening the law. Will it ensure, will it ensure or will it prevent the leakage of papers? It's a big question, because there is a, provision for fast track courts, then speedy trials. There are mechanisms for speedy trial, but special fast track courts are already there. The results are not encouraging. Okay, that's why it's the amendments are questionable. Actually, I have made a detailed video about that one, this particular act. You try to watch that video also. Okay, you will get some insights about the act and whether the amendments will really work or not. Okay, analysis is there. I have made. Okay, further details if you see. Now a special task force can be formed for investigating the exam related crime. Okay. Earlier the mechanism was not there. Now central government can form a special task force, okay, to investigate the exam related offences, and that body has to complete the investigation within 2 months. Okay, once FIR is registered, within 2 months it has to complete the investigation and it has to file the charge sheet. Okay, right. Then government is also now setting up fast track courts. So it act mandates or amendment mandates that each and every state and union territory has to designate a court of session as the special fast track court with related to these exam related paper leaks. Okay, and once charge sheet is filed, the special court has to complete the investigation within 3 months. Okay, so in total 5 months the entire process has to be completed. 2 months for investigation, 3 months for proceedings. Okay, trials. Okay, appeal process, within 3 months the trial has to be completed and the judgment has to be given. If any party has problem with that, okay, the party can appeal in the high court, respected high court. That too they have to do it in 1 month, within 1 month, with proper explanation why. They can take further 2 more months, okay, and they can appeal it in the high court. But once 1 month time duration is lapsed, if then the aggrieved party wants to appeal, they have to give appropriate explanation, then they can appeal it in the high court. Okay, right. Then once the case comes before the high court, once again the high court has to complete the trial in 3 months and it has to give the judgment. So remember here one thing. The thing is, can you actually prescribe time limit to the high court? Is it allowed under our system? Okay, does it not amount to curbing the independence of judiciary? Okay, so that type of analysis also you have to make, and I have discussed it in the video I have mentioned. You try to watch it. So this is about the Public Examinations Amendment Act. Okay, so the act has actually been passed by both houses of parliament. Bill has been passed by both houses of parliament. It's waiting for the assent of the president. Once the honorable president gives the assent, it will become the reality. Okay, right. Next topic. There are some changes with related to credit guarantee scheme. Okay, credit guarantee scheme, that's there for Skill India Mission. Okay, Skill India Mission. Okay, right. Now the maximum loan limit that can be given for Skill India under the program is 7.5 lakhs. Okay, earlier it was just 1.5 lakh rupees. Okay, we will see the details. The Credit Guarantee Fund Scheme for Skill Development. It's managed by NCGTC under the Skill India Mission. It has been modified to enable risk sharing for defaults. Okay, so this is the major important aspect. So if you see the major aspects of that modification, there is a tiered guarantee. The cover is now tiered based on the loan slab. Okay, 75% of the loans between 5,000 and rupees 4 lakh, and 70% of the loans up to 7.5. And some more courses have been added in the eligibility. Now it is extended to non NSQF. Okay, National Skill Qualification Framework is there. It identifies the courses. Those courses were also included, the courses which are run by registered on the Skill India Digital. Okay, and details related to finances are there. You try to remember there is an amendment to credit guarantee scheme under the Skill India Mission. It is important under the Skill India program. Another important one is increase in the number of Supreme Court judges. Earlier, a ordinance was promulgated by the Honorable President to give it a legal backing. Now the bill has been passed. Okay, so the synthesis of it is, now the strength of the Supreme Court is 33 plus 1 CJI plus 33 other Supreme Court judges are there. Okay, because of the pendency of cases, etc., etc. Now the number has been increased to 37. Okay, plus CJI will be there. So total 38 judges will be there in the Supreme Court. Okay, so the respected act that was amended is Supreme Court Number of Judges Act of 1956. This act is amended. Okay. Right. Then some other things related to regulating the bar, okay, lawyers, etc., etc., their welfare. Some amendments are there with respect to that. Okay, the draft advocates amendment bill 2026 was released for public comments. It is not introduced in the parliament, but it is released for the public comments. Okay, you try to, it is to give some to give recognition to the lawyers who have got educated in foreign countries but they want to practice in our country. It is also there. Then they at the bar council, women also have to be appropriately represented. That is also there. And some social security measures also have to be there for the lawyers. All these things are there for discussion under the draft bill. Now comments are invited. You know something about the bill. Okay, maybe it is asked in the prelims examination. Okay, it is the draft advocates amendment bill 2026. Remember. Okay, then additional rules or further rules have been notified under the BB. Okay, you see the rules prescribe structured arrangements to transition from the previous act, that is MGNREGA Act. Okay, some of the important things, if we see, the Ministry of Rural Development, it notified two sets of rules under the VBG Ramji Act of 2025. You know very well it is replaced MGNREGA Act of 2005. Okay, if you see the payments, the rules say the payments have to be mandatorily made through a bank or through a post office. Cash payments are strictly prohibited, but in the rarest of the rare cases, the central government can allow cash payments, but mandatorily the payments have to be either deposited in a bank account or post office account. Okay, right. Second one, something about liability settlement. You see, states must verify and settle MGNREGA liabilities existing up to June 30, 2026. Okay, then later center will release funds according to standard procedures. Then further details, if you see, ongoing MGNREGA works and eKYC verified job cards will seamlessly continue under the new act also. Households that have already availed work remain eligible for remaining guaranteed days in the financial year. It will also be there. All digital or physical records and physical assets of the 2005 Act will be transferred to new authorities. Okay, these are some of the guidelines that are being given by the ministry. Okay, right. Next one is about the MSME amendment. Okay, right. The MSME Development Amendment Bill 2026 is introduced in Rajya Sabha to amend the Parent Act of 2006. Okay, you see classification now, MSME classification. Now limits have been removed. The government will time to time notify the classification. Okay, so the amendment bill removes the investment limits in plant or in machinery. Okay, it empowers the center to notify thresholds based on investment and turnover. Now the limits are not mentioned in the act. Now central government will notify through them through the guidelines. Okay, then second and very important development is mandatory trades. Every central public sector enterprise CPSE, it must procurement invoices through the electronic system only. Trades platform is there. Okay, why? To improve the cash flow to the MSMEs. You see, MSMEs face a severe cash crunch because of the delayed payments. What is the benefit if they are the central public sector enterprises are issuing these invoices through the trades platform? Okay, the MSMEs can pledge these receipts with the banks and they can take loan, okay, against these receipts or invoices. That is the benefit if we trade in the through the trades platform. Okay, then another important development is some of the you know some of the, what should I say, non-compliance issues with respect to MSME Act. Punishment has been reduced, okay, to encourage entrepreneurship, etc., not to penalize the entrepreneurs for small non-compliant issues. Okay, that details is also there. So some of the crime, they have been decriminalized. Okay, some of the things that are non-compliant with the law, they have been decriminalized. It is to encourage entrepreneurship in our country, that you remember. Okay, right. Another important development is, right. So another important development is the cabinet has approved the Semicon India Mission 2.0. Very important. Okay, if you see, it is Semicon India Program 2.0 is running under the Indian Semiconductor Mission. Okay, what is the purpose? The purpose is to foster design and the manufacturing of semiconductors in our country. If you see the details, 3 of the 12 approved manufacturing units under Semicon 1.0, 1.0, they are successfully started production in 2026. Then you see 24 semiconductor design projects, they have been approved for direct financial support to bolster indigenous IP production also. Okay, so the total financial package that is given for Semicon 2.0 is 1,27,500 crore rupees approved. Okay, under Semicon 1.0, we have already seen 3 facilities have already started producing these semiconductors. Then if you see the pillars of Semicon 2.0, this second phase establishes structured and a robust framework to support the expansion of India's chip making ecosystem. If you see the pillars, first one is design and IP, intellectual properties. Okay, then machinery and materials. Next pillar is fab and assembly, and the next one is education and talent. Okay, so these are some of the 6 pillars of Semicon 2.0 mission. Okay, then next one, Parliament protects national song, that is Vande Mataram. This, there is the act is there, the prevention of insults to national honors act is there. Original act is of 1971. The present amendment gives equal protection to Vande Mataram as that of the Jan Gana Mana. Okay, so the parent 1971 act penalizes insults to the national flag, the Constitution of India, and the national anthem. The present amendment, it extends identical honor protections to Vande Mataram also. Vande Mataram is national song, you know it very well. If you see the penalties and prohibitions, the strict penal framework is structured to protect solemn national gatherings and formal symbols from intentional disruption. Okay, so prohibited actions are intentionally preventing the singing of the song or anthem, causing disturbance to an assembly engaged in singing, In the first instance, it is punishable with imprisonment up to 3 years, a fine, or both. Repeat offenses, for repeat offenses, a second and every subsequent conviction is punishable with imprisonment of a minimum of 1 year. Okay. So this is to prevent the insult to Vande Mataram also, along with other national honors. Then Lok Sabha amends births and deaths, registration. Okay. If you see registration of births and deaths bill 2026, it is introduced in Lok Sabha, successfully passed also. It seeks to modernize and streamline the registration framework of the Parent Act of 1969. Okay. If you see, under the 1969 Act, any birth or death reported after 1 year of occurrence requires a formal order to be registered. This process ensures official records maintain accuracy and authenticity even with significantly delayed reporting. Okay, now that has been from 1 year to it has made to 2 years. Okay, the bill strictly mandates that the registration order may be issued only by a judicial magistrate of the first class. Okay, this is the significance of the bill. Okay, you see, this amendment bill structures a dual tier authorization process depending on the length of the registration delay, moving from executive to judicial oversight for long delays. Earlier, the executive himself or herself, okay, used to approve this delayed registration. Now it requires the judicial oversight also. That is the significance of the bill. Okay, then RBA drafts rules. Okay, RBA drafts rules for foreign equity investment in our country. The draft foreign exchange management rules 2026 seek to simplify the NDI rules, okay, governing offshore investments into our country. Okay, right. So important details are there. You try to go through the details. Okay, next one. Some key policy approvals are there with respect to Urea and the PM-KISAN. PM-KISAN has been extended. Okay, the Union Cabinet approved the continuation of the PM-KISAN Samman Nidhi, PM-KISAN direct benefit transfer scheme from 2026-27 to 2030-31. Another 5 years, the scheme has been extended. The details you know very well. Every year, 6,000 rupees will be given to eligible farmers in 3 equal installments of 2,000 rupees. Then the landmark scheme currently supports around 9.5 crore farmers in our country. Then the money that is allocated is 3.2 lakh crore rupees. Then with related to urea also, we will see the national investment policy for urea. It was approved to facilitate new manufacturing units of urea, replacing the 2012 policy which ended in 2019. Key changes, if you see, a distinct separation of fixed and variable costs. Now distinct separation is there. Introduction of an ROE, return on equity band, with a 12% floor and a 16% ceiling. Then conversion of fixed cost into INR, okay, after 4 years based on prevailing rates. These are some of the changes that have been made to urea policy. Okay, then consumer affairs, some developments are there. Regulation of sugar in packed foods. Okay, you see, the Standing Committee on Consumer Affairs presented its report on regulation of packed commodities with a specific reference to sugar content in baby products, especially, and other food products. The target segment is it's placed on baby products and infant packaged foods. Why this is being done? Because the Cerelac is a very, very popular food for the babies, and you know, in our country, 33% sugar content is there in the babies Cerelac that we feed to babies. If you go to European Union, EU, there is no sugar content at all. Zero sugar is there. You know very well, sugar is not at all a healthy food to consume. Okay, that's why this present committee is focusing a lot on baby foods and sugar content in it. Okay, the committee recommendations, you see, the committee outlined critical measures to strengthen consumer awareness and prevent mislabeling across the platforms. You see, they have to do sugar classification, mandatory thresholds based on scientific advice. The producers or the people who are producing these foods, they have to do it. Then standardized labeling rules have to be brought in across food categories. Then e-commerce audit also shall take place. Okay, these are all the things that the committee has recommended. Right, we will continue. Some minor things are there, we will see them quickly. Okay, first is standing committee report on PDS modernization, very important. You see, the standing committee on consumer affairs, food and public distribution. Okay, it presented its report on PDS modernization and strengthening of technical databases. It said that complete digitization of 20.5 crore ration cards covering around 80 crore beneficiaries, it's completed. Okay, achievement, it is an achievement. Second one is implementation of automated systems in 5.5 lakh out of 5.51 lakh fair price shops alongside nationwide portability. Okay, so this is also achieved. Further, the committee has made some important recommendations. If you see, first recommendation is conduct time-bound drives to verify suspect beneficiaries and include left out eligible households. That has to be taken place. Second recommendation is resolve biometric failures, elderly persons and manual laborers. I'm sorry. Third one is assess direct benefit transfers models implemented in Chandigarh, Puducherry and Dadra and Nagar Haveli, because they have been piloted. Pilot programs are being run there. Okay, direct benefit transfer instead of giving rice or wheat directly to the consumers. Okay, these are the recommendations. Next, the cabinet revises the rice quality norms. Okay, the union cabinet has revised the quality norms for rice supplied under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, PM-KISAN and other welfare schemes to ensure superior national standards. Okay, so objectives are, first one is to improve the standard of grains disturbed to target groups, whether it is pregnant women, whether it is children, whether it is poor people, whether it is Antyodaya people. Second one is applying uniform parameters for welfare scheme grain quality across the states. Okay, if you want to know some details about the PMGKAY, okay, and the PMGKAY framework, free food grains are regularly provided to ensure food security across vulnerable segments. Who are those vulnerable segments? First one is Antyodaya, poorest of the poor, AAY. Poorest of the poor households receive highly subsidized and quality vetted grains. These are the first category of people. Secondary category of people are primary households or priority households also, you can call them priority households. You see, these crucial welfare beneficiaries covered primarily or comprehensively under the National Food Security. You know very well, there is a scheme, National Food Security is there in FSA 2013. Under this, the priority households are given food grains, okay, at rupees 1, 2, 3. Okay, right. Then Supreme Court rules on retrospective ECs, environmental clearances, very important. Now, retrospective environmental clearances, there is an important ruling. Okay, in the Honorable Supreme Court judgment, you see the Honorable Supreme Court upheld the prior environmental clearance as the statutory norm, no deviation from it, no scope for retrospective ACs. Retrospective AC is, first you have to, for a project, you have to take environmental clearance. But what people are doing is, first they are starting the project, doing some work, okay, developing the infrastructure, constructing the buildings, etc. Then they are seeking environmental clearance. Supreme Court says that no, nothing doing. First you get the environmental clearance from the Ministry of Environment, then only you start the project. That is the synthesis of the judgment. Okay, then further the court says that retrospective EC can only be granted in exceptional situations. Only in exceptional situations it can be granted. The court findings, if you see, the 2017 notification is valid strictly as a one-time measure for various existing projects as of March 14, 2017. Central government brought in a rule for the existing projects which do not have ECA by that time. Only opportunity was given to them. No fresh window, further no fresh window is there. Only applications filed within the original stipulated time are valid. No new applications are allowed. This is what is the synthesis or summary of the judgment of the Supreme Court. Next, a cabinet approves floating solar photovoltaic development scheme. You see, the Union Cabinet has approved a dedicated scheme to accelerate the development of floating solar photovoltaic projects across the country. Guidelines of the scheme, if you see, floating solar PV projects must be co-located with an energy storage system having a minimum capacity of 2 hours. Okay, so it's a coexistence or co-location project, means already some renewable energy project shall be there, whether it is solar, whether it is wind, etc. Along with that, these projects can be started. Okay, as of July 2026, the country's existing total solar PV capacity stands at 700 megawatts. Okay, financial, some details are there with respect to financial assistance also. Total financial assistance that is stipulated under the scheme is 1 crore rupees. For further details, you go through the presentation. Okay. Total outlay for the scheme is 5,000 crore rupees, and the total capacity target is 5,000 megawatt. Okay, right. And then standing committee report on vast coal production. Okay, the Standing Committee on Coal, Mines and Steel presented its report on infrastructure development to augment vast coal production under the chairmanship of Anurag Singh Thakur. Okay, you see, according to the details, if you see, according high priority to coal beneficiation by systematically expanding and upgrading existing washery networks, expanding the technical capacity and regulatory mandate of the coal controllers organization to support the project delivery. Okay, right. So these are some of the details related to vast coal production. You go through the document for further details. Okay, you see now, if you see then further, if you see standing committee report on Atmanirbharta, it is also there. Okay, standing committee on coal, same one. Okay, it presented its report on Atmanirbharta in steel sector and a roadmap for made in India steel production. Okay, if you see the strategic directives under that scheme, prioritizing indigenous steel production to minimize external supply dependencies across key national infrastructure projects. Second important directive is boosting domestic R&D and commercializing homegrown steel production technologies to build a robust self-reliance. Okay, these are important aspects with related to Atmanirbharta in steel sector. Okay, then cabinet approves a revamped Khelo India scheme, very important scheme. You see, the Union Cabinet approved the expanded Khelo India scheme to create state-of-the-art sports centers at the school level and integrate athletes or athletics directly into mainstream education. Okay, important development. You try to go through the details. So these are some of the important things that were there in this month's edition of Monthly Policy Review edition of PRS Legislative Research. Okay, watch this video, and for further details, you please go through the original document also. If you read the original document, you will get many more details. Okay, I try to just give you a bird's eye view or overview of the document. Okay? Right. So this is it for today. See you next time. Until then, you have a very